Well, I was not expecting to be taking this shirt out for a test drive this soon, but then again, I also wasn't expecting to actually in this episode turn out like this and be covering it like that. So anyway, it's time for another Pokemon Journeys JP reaction video. Now the subs are out. This time on episode 59. Who is the trainer, the Lost Grookey, and thanks once again to Will Dynamaster 55 and DeviantArt for the high quality thumbnail, image, and I'm sorry you had to disable the comments given how people were reacting. And personally, I think between this and what I was reading about how some guy I was saying about Generation 7, I think you guys all need to chill. I mean, I know this last year has been kind of heavy on a lot of us, but you can't get so worked up about this. It's not healthy, so let's get this started. So, this episode opens on a dream sequence of Go, and his parents have become Rillaboom as well. I mean, that's kind of strange given Go's background. And I don't mean the one like the one I have my posters on. Anyway, hey, they say to keep an eye on his brother, who happens to be a Grookey, even though it's another red flag given how Go is an only child, I mean. But still, he thinks it's a dream, but then he actually wakes up with Grookey on his arm, and even tries to catch one when he's still half asleep, but it turns out that Grookey already has a trainer, so they had to find out who it is, try and get him back. Especially since Grookey is very mischievous and likes to eat quite a bit. As minds which has this weird running gag of Ash going out on meals just to eat more. Well, I know it's something interesting. Yeah. Another thing about I want to mention before I go any further, like I don't know about any so-called 50 dynamics my sister was claiming, but personally, if you could talk about Lusamine, apart from some of my favorite villains actually coming out of that time frame, like Tremaine and Maleficent, the only ones I could picture her in would be created by Wanda Maximoff or involving Indy's infamous nuke fridge. I mean, just a little aside there. After her search for the neighbors Dodrio and a civilians Marowak were fruitless, then a search with the aid of Chloe's Yamper, who's sniffing out Grookey's scent, leads them to a Pokemart, and specifically the Pokeball shop up section of it, where apparently they find out that it was Team Rocket's, especially after her Pelipper her is caught on tape, he dropping it out of their Gauchapon machine. Huh. I have trouble implementing my Game Quest day in my 3DS case lately. So, at the same time, Team Rocket is trying to find what they lost, saying that HQ would not reflect well on them for losing it, even though they are technically the ones who also stole it as well from wherever it was. So, I do end up briefly snatching back Grookey, but it turns out that the stick it has in its head, it was using it as like a drumstick as well as being able to heal plants and is left behind as Go tries to find out, well, their hiding place returned to them. I guess they got wise since last time after he outed their location of the phone booth, which, depending on pop culture age, you'll probably only recognize those as office phones or criminals. So if anything, it makes it more conspicuous when everyone has mobiles in their pockets. Yeah. And of course, Grookey ends up wrecking up their lair and stealing some more Pecco's snacks, much to Morkapo's rage. Man, I'm liking that aspect, man. So, Jesse and James try to reclaim Grookey, but Grookey actually breaks the rocket ball they hold and effectively releases itself, man. So that's kind of interesting to say the least, and it decides go, and again, I don't have a problem with this given how I started with Square Bunny and Sword and Soul and Shield. I ended up getting Grookey a bit later via trade, so I don't really have a Yamper in this race, man. Like I said, it wouldn't have mattered to me either way, man. Yeah, I think people that put this are so uppy about this are being a little bit silly. I mean, and yes, I realize where I'm sitting saying that, but still. So, long story short, Team Rocket sent blasting off, and we actually now have the first situation where all three main starters were region are given to someone else. Hmm. Like I mentioned this before or my video on Suicune, but it bears repeating here. An alternate title for this video could very well be I Defend and the Capture of Grookey. So, this episode was definitely an interesting one, and much like how the next one's going to be, I was not initially planning on doing it like this, but I feel like I need to, in regards to how some people are behaving, and claiming that this outright the series is not the best at forming following through on ideas, which is something I vehemently disagree with. I mean, since I still say that's a load of nonsense and a bunch of Mudsdale splatter. Personally, hey, it's far. I hardly think taking a slightly different direction and and like you would if you were just taking a slightly different path to work or school all qualifies the same kind of sacrilege other video game adaptations committed, because if anything, this series has been able to do more because they actually treat this version like its own distinct entity and work with that. It's way more. I personally take way greater umbrage to what the Anderson Resident Evil films did, as well as what the Monster Hunter film tried to do and failed at. Really hope Monster Hunter Rise is good and the reboot of the movie is good, but that's off track. I also want to make clear I don't think every single adaptation has to be exactly like a source. I mentioned this before and bears repeating that there's been a lot of adaptations I've really enjoyed in recent years that have actually varied significantly from the source material. I mean, sometimes a change can do you good, and if anything, this series helped me a lot throughout this past year. And I'm, and even though I hear that Netflix is working out more details from us for the next volume of the dub, as well as like the next movie, that they're also apparently going to be going on hiatus after next week's episode. Once again, nothing too serious. A similar one happened last year. Here, when COVID hit. Things. I'm not saying all things will be back to where they were in the before time a long ago, but maybe it'll be like the start of a brand new day. Hey, so I'm still actually really liking how this series has, so to speak, subverted my expectations. Ah, ah. So, overall, I liked the episode, all things considered, and no, I'm not going to change my mind about this. That's not likelihood, man. But I just wanted to get you guys something out, and I am still working on my next crop of some movie vlogs or some other videos. This may not be more of those before I go on out of town next weekend and to Newport. Alright, that way I'll probably be writing from where I'm going to be staying and including some scripts I want to try and get off the ground. And just so you know, I'm not just playing in games and and getting through my backlog of streams and Blu-rays, which is also true. So yeah, I'll be off for now. Now, anyone else wants to play online with me, he might my tags or my channel description. So that'll be all for now. Later. Hmm.